If you've not heard of the School for Good and Evil, let me tell you, the time is now. So Soman Chainani, he published the first book in the series back in May of 2013, and there are 6 books in the series, the last one being published in June of 2020. Now, just this week, Netflix has released the movie, The School for Good and Evil, and so we're going to talk about today, is the book better than the movie, or is the movie better than the book? Now, I have to agree that in general, most books are better than their movies. So let's get started talking about some of the differences without giving away spoilers or anything. So both have excellent beginnings. The beginning of the book starts out, the first line is just awesome. Sophie had waited her whole life to be kidnapped. If that doesn't hook you in, why does this girl want to be kidnapped, right? So it just has this excellent, great first line. And then in the movie, it's a little bit different. It starts with the schoolmaster and his brother, and we'll have to get a little bit more into that in a minute, but it starts with a fight between both of them. And then it also, right after that, it really develops and starts out Sophie and Agatha's friendships as their children. And it really solidifies that in a really great way that I feel it's done differently in the book, but I just love the way it's done in the movie because it really solidifies that great friendship. So what is this all about? The School for Good and Evil is a school where heroes and heroines, they learn to become the best that they can be, all the good that they can be. And then the School for Evil, of course, is the counterpart where the villains are schooled to learn how to become all that they should be. So in this town of Gavelton, where Sophie and Agatha grew up, every few years, a set of children are kidnapped. And so the townspeople are really troubled by this. They're doing all they can. They can tell when it's going to happen. And so they do all they can to make sure to protect their children. Because once some of the kids notice something, that the storybooks are where these missing children have gone. Sophie has waited her whole life to be kidnapped. She has just been growing up and dreaming and wishing of the princess that she's going to be. And so she can't wait. And then Agatha, she's been growing up all of her life that her mom is known as the town witch, and she's just not very pretty, and she's always, in dark clothes and not looking her best, and they live in a graveyard, the edge of the graveyard, and so they're kind of dubbed that they just know that Agatha is going to be selected for the School of Evil. So Sophie and Agatha, in both the movie and the book, they have a strong friendship going in, and they're both selected to go off to the School for Good and Evil. And so at the school, though, when they get there, immediately Sophie is dropped in the School for Evil and Agatha in the School for Good. And so then it goes on to really just, they're both fighting. Agatha just wants to go home, and Sophie just wants to get in her school, in the School for Good, so she can become the princess that she's always dreamed of being. And so it goes into all that, and then friendships are developed, and a nemesis, and there's fighting and adventure and learning about these schools and these teachers. And so it's done really, really well, both the book and the movie. And I really feel like that the theme of the book is really held to, that it's really true to it in the movie. So I think it probably helped that Soman, he was a producer in the movie. So it always helps when the author is involved in the movie and helping maintain those personalities of the characters and really holding true to what the characters are meant to be and those themes in the book. So one of the things that is different is the way the schoolmaster is done. And so you see the schoolmaster in a different way in the movie, but I think it's just done really, really well, because it's in a movie, you're just not able, you don't have the amount of time that you have in a book. You don't have the words and the, that you're able to do in a book, in a movie. But what you do have in a movie, which I think is done so well, because, you have less time, they do it with song, they do it with images, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So these actors are just, they were perfect for the parts. And one thing that I love about the movie is the way that Hort and some of the characters, they bring in some humor that really just enhances the movie. That I just love Hort and how he is in the movie. It really brings in some fun and humor. One of the reasons, again, that the movie was so good is that it used dialogue straight from the book. And so, but I want to share some of these quotes from actually the movie that I just loved. So there's this part where Sophie is just having a really hard time, that she just feels like she was meant to do something good, right? And so she's explaining that to Agatha, that, you know, she's got to get to the school for good because she's just meant to do something good. And Agatha says to her, "You already did do something that matters the day you became my friend." And so it just has this beautiful story of friendship and love and just being true as friends. And then also what can come between friends, because there's definitely a lot of that in the movie and the book. And then another line that I just love, because somebody says, well, do you really think this of this person? And then she replies, "I don't believe that anyone is truly good or evil, because people are complicated," right? And it really goes in to show that the great things from the book, and that is also in the movie. It says, it's not what we are, it's what we do. And so that's just a wonderful theme that, you know, we can all really remember and put that into practice. It has these really great, wonderful themes, both the movie and the book. And so if you have not read it, definitely go and check it out. And because it is definitely worth the read. But if you're not into reading, you could definitely enjoy the movie not having read the book, because like I said, it does such a good job of staying true to those themes. And yeah, there's parts that are left out because, again, how can you shove all that into a movie and do a good job of it? But it is so well done. And I feel like that's about all that I want to say about the book and the movie, because otherwise I would give too much away. But it's just a really fun book/movie. It has so much magic, it has so much adventure, it has so much friendship, and there's lots of whimsy. And then there's stuff that you'll recognize, you know, from other books and stories that you're familiar with, but then it has so much new stuff that is just so much fun to discover, that it has this definite uniqueness to it. And so overall, I'm going to give it even on this one. And not very many would get even. You know, while there are definite things like, let's say, Lord of the Rings, that are left out of Lord of the Rings, that is one that I enjoy reading the book just as much as I enjoy watching the movie. So then let me know in the comments, have you read the book? Have you already seen the movie? Which one do you like better? Do you like books better than movies, or do you only like to watch the movies? Tell me which is a book or movie that you liked better or worse. And then if you like this video, please take the time to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.